Hi, this is Dawn, and I wanted to do a little video about how to use different tools for new moon intention setting. And what I will tell you, first of all, is the book that I use all the time. This is a great reference book for new moon intentions. Each new moon is listed in here with suggestions for that moon and what is the things that you should ask for related to that, like Libra, partnerships, agreements, peace, beauty, art, decorations. And even at they're about 3 or 4 pages long. And then at the very end, it also rules teamwork, but it also lists, if I can find that particular thing, the areas of the body that might cover, which is like the kidneys, diabetes, sugar imbalance, that kind of thing. So that's what the first part of this book is. I use this all the time. It's probably the most used book that I have, as far as I'm constantly referencing it, if I can talk. Also in the back, towards the starting right after that information regarding the recommendations for each new moon, is the nodes. So whether your node, whatever sign your node is in, or the house that it may be in, you can read about that information. So the initial information about the new moons is like in the first quarter of the book, and the rest is the other information about the nodes and where your node placement is, because this is about the moon. This is done by Jan Spiller. She has passed on, but she has a number of very good books, and this is probably my favorite of all of them. She used the Placidus system. So if you're familiar with that house system, if you know anything about astrology, then you'll kind of be able to understand it. I use a different house system. It's perfectly understandable for me. It's very good for beginners. So I would highly recommend this book. I will leave a link for it so that you know how to get a hold of it. Now, the thing about the new moon is it's nice to set some kind of a ritual in place to show your importance to the universe of what you want to send out there. And you can make it as complicated or as simple as you want. At the very simplest level, I think you should always use a candle. The reason for that is you want to have that sense of your beginning. You can set protection around yourself. You can ask Archangel Michael to have a bubble of protection around you. And you can actually be online with other people and do the same thing, where you might have someone do some kind of a um, um, verbal relaxation or meditating information right at the very beginning, if you want to do that. I don't usually make it that complicated, but I always believe that you should use a candle. So this is just like basic basic candle 101, or whatever you like as far as candles. Beautifully scent. This is a very beautifully scented candle. This is one with very crystal. This is a selenite crystal that you can fit a tea candle in. So different types of candles that you can use. You can use a long tapered candle. So those are kind of the different ones that you have there as an option for your candles. So I think that is important, because then that kind of sets the mood as I'm starting this. And then at the very end, when you're finished, the very last thing you do is blow out the candle and release your intentions. And that's a sense of finality, instead of just kind of like, okay, now what? You know, when you blow out the candle that you've released that, just like you're blowing out a birthday candle and making your wish. Okay. So the very basic thing I would say about setting intentions is use a candle, and then set your intentions according to what new moon it is. And then also, what house is that new moon going to be in for you? Weigh those two factors. Like, so if you're talking about the sign of, we'll start with Aries. Aries, that initiation energy, that strong will, and say it's in the sixth house, which is your everyday habits. You could set an intention about using Aries energy of the new moon to start a new habit about exercising, or some other initiating energy because it is a cardinal sign, different aspects of that. So that's why I recommend the book, because it's very much about giving you all those kind of ideas with regard to what each new moon represents or could represent. And then you also have the houses when it talks about the nodes and the houses. But basic information on the houses works just as well. And there's a lot of references out there for that. So if you want to make it a little bit more elaborate, what do you do? I think if you can incorporate your senses as much as you can with this energy, one of the things that I have that I actually use before I do each of my tarot readings is this agua de Florida, right? So this is something that I actually put into these little spray bottles like this. So it's a very much a scent that I was at a seminar one time, and this lady came around and sprayed it on all of our hands. And I was like, I love this. I love this. I was just so in love with the scent. And it's not the beautiful thing about it, it neither leans too masculine or too feminine. It's very much a very rich smell. And what I use it for right before my readings is to kind of ground myself and put myself into a sense of I'm paying attention to this fragrance. I'm letting other things just go out of my mind and just enjoying the smell. So if you want to use your own perfume for that, you don't have to use anything if you don't want to use any kind of a perfume. But this is something that you can consider. When I'm doing new moon intentions, I don't usually use this, but I do use it right before I do my readings. So there's that sense. And then one of the other things I'm doing right this second is I learned from my friend Natsko that you can utilize, this is tea. And we do this with our friends. Nat gets a whole ceremony set up for us. We all get online and she mails us out the special tea that she mixes. And then we have this whole process of all of us being together, which is very powerful, because then when we release our intentions, then we're all doing it as a group. And I just feel like there's so much more power to that. So that's an idea that you can do with other people. But with the sense of this, once you start the ceremony and, you've lit your candle and you're getting ready, and maybe you've done some kind of breathing exercise to get you into that, get you into that relaxed mode. Then one of the things that you can do is take sips of tea. This is a orange spice tea. The smell, the sips. And if you want to use like moon water, that would be a great idea, using a moon water. Or you can, I've never used wine for that, but if no judgment here. So I think those are the things that if you can incorporate as many things that you can out of nature, I would say if you want to have flowers on your table, it can be as elaborate or as simple as you want. The only thing I would probably suggest is make sure you have that candle to symbolize the beginning and the ending. Now, there are other things that you can use besides that book as a way to help you with manifesting. You can use like this 369 book also as a manifesting tool, that if you want to use that, you can kind of create your own ritual in your own way. So what other thing can you do? Well, I think I will give you an example of what I did when I did a new moon in Taurus. Is I decided I was going to utilize this because it was a great new moon. So I was like, okay, I am going to, with this new moon that Jan Spiller talks about, she never has more than 9 things that she chooses to write down as her intentions. You have to have at least 2 to get the energy going, but not more than that 10 mark. So what I did was I chose 9. Then I wrote them 3 times. So I had 9 things. I wrote it 3 times, and then I spoke each one out loud 6 times. And that was more of a time consuming evening, but I wanted to really do something special for that energy of that particular new moon, because it was a great manifesting moon. So those are the things that you can use. The other thing that you can maybe consider is using different crystals. carnelian, jade. I'll show that so you can see these different things up here, right? Um, whatever particular one appeals to you. And then maybe as you're writing, you can have it in your hand, or even any of the pocket stones that you have. So if you want to carry it with you, and just occasionally, touch it. So those are different ideas that you can use as well. So let me see, besides the stones, selenite, and the different, I would say, I've known one of the things that we did in our group was that doing the breathing exercises. And there's certain things out there for like using a particular moon goddess as someone that's going to help you with that, or a particular goddess of, say you like Pallas Athena, using that kind of energy in as well, depending upon what you are trying to manifest. So I think there's different tools that you can use all the way through this as far as making it your own. And you can do it by yourself. You can do it with other people. It's also a good time during the moons, the new moons, and the full moons to put your decks out, to cleanse them. So that's other energy that you can use for that. So what else can you do as far as making it more special to you? I don't do anything fancy when I write my things down. I just use like this kind of paper. And what is something that you can do is, if you want to make it a little bit more special, you can use special paper, you can use special cards. When you're done writing, you can decide how you want to, once you end it, do you want to take that outside? Do you want to burn that energy? Do you want to maybe save it and fold it, or write it down for when on a calendar when the full moon is going to be coming up? So if I did the Taurus new moon, I would do, which is in April, May. Yeah, May. Um, generally in May, in that time frame. Then 6 months later, when that moon becomes full in the fall, then, because it would be in Scorpio, those are the opposite. You look at the axis, just like in the zodiac, whatever that opposite axis is. So it would be Cancer and Capricorn, and Taurus and Scorpio. So those are the things that you can do to look at the different energies. Again, you can use the crystals, and the other thing about the crystals, and I had almost forgot that, one of the things that Nat had us do one time is that we wanted to imbue the crystals with that energy. So we held the crystal near the candle and had it reflect the light, and get that light we could see that reflected in the candle. So that would be putting that energy in once we'd finished writing down our intentions. So that is an idea. And however you want to feel that you want to release it, however you want to, whether you want to save it, whether you want to um, um, burn it to release it, that would be up to you. I would say keep in mind how you like to do things, or if you want to be reminded later of what those might be, if you want to maybe write down 2 lists or something. But those are I think the things that you can do that would make that a little bit easier for you. So let's see, what other things besides, I think doing in a group, I would maybe recommend, because I think it's always nice to create that community and sense of tribe. And you don't have to tell each other. We don't usually at all, when we're doing our group thing, we don't tell each other what our intention setting is all about, or what we're trying to manifest. We are each doing our own thing, writing down our own requests, I guess, or intentions. So I think that is a great energy to utilize. Sometimes if you are into tarot cards or anything like that, or oracle cards, you can pull a card, then you can just make it anything that you want. So once you're done writing that information and, if you're utilizing tea, then we have a tendency to drink all of our tea and be finished, or whatever you're using as part of your ceremony. And then when you're done and you're finished with everything, then you blow out that candle as a sign that you've completed the ceremony and that you're releasing your intentions. Now, each new moon has a specific time out there, and it's very easy to locate in your time zone what time that is. And with Jan Spiller, she always recommends the first. You can set intentions for 48 hours. You can write intentions. The best, she said, is within 8 hours of it perfecting. So within 8 hours of that new moon perfecting is the best time, the strongest time to write intentions for it. You can do it within 48 hours, but she says to limit that, the total of the requests down. I have a tendency to, if I want to give extra boost, then I just use the same ones and just, maybe you write it for 3 days in a row, have 9 of them and then write them for 3 days in a row. So there's different things that you can do as far as manifesting, and you can use this whole 369 if you want to. I don't all the time. That particular one, I wanted to make it super special. So I think those are the different tips that you can use. If anybody has any additional things that they might want to share that they do for their intention setting, I would say, please put those down in the comments. And I think that anything that we can share with each other regarding what we're doing with these new moon intentions, I think is very helpful for everybody as a collective. So this I made just as a basic new moon, any new moon that you want to utilize. But these are the tools that I use, and those are some of the ideas that that I've come across that work very well as part of that. So as simple as best for you, great. But make sure that you have a beginning and an ending as part of that. So thank you for watching. I will see you at other times, and write any suggestions down below. Thank you. Bye.